Every DAW will have a feature where you can take multiple tracks and easily route them into one bus. In Ableton, it's groups. In Pro Tools, it's routing folders. And in Logic, it's called track stacks. The way we can do this is highlight all the tracks. So we can shift click to highlight all of our drums. And on the keyboard, press Shift, Command, and D. This will open up a menu of what kind of track stack we want to create. A folder stack will group the tracks where it's not a traditional bus where you can't add plugins to the folder. A summing stack will actually route them into a bus where you can actually process them all together like you would a bus. So we can click summing stack here and create, and now we can see it's created this summing stack here. We're going to rename this to drum bus. And this has routed all of our drum tracks into this drum bus where we can now start processing them all together. Another cool thing about track stacks is you can have a stack within a stack. For example, we have these two snare samples. We can do the same thing, highlight them, Shift Command D, and let's put the stack within the stack here. Now that both those snare samples have been routed into that snare bus, we can actually just put the MIDI clip into that snare bus itself. I like to do this when I'm layering samples, because then I can mix these two samples to get the sound that I want. The next thing I'm going to show you is remove silence. And this is a great tool when you're editing drums. Let's work with this top loop here. Maybe in this loop, we only want the loud hits and not the other components underneath. What we can do here is press Control X. This will bring up the remove silence window, and we can increase or lower the threshold to only include those main loud hits that we want. This is great when you're editing live drums so that you can actually remove the spill from the other pieces of the kit. Once we fine tune the threshold to just get the components that we want, we can press OK here, and it's stripped everything else in this audio region. The next tip I'm going to show you is something that I always use when editing audio. It's called Fade Tool Click Zones. So you can see if I take my cursor and I put it to the top, left, or right of an audio region, we'll see this crosshair here. And what this does is you can create a fade in or fade out with that tool. Now, if you don't see that by default, you can go to Settings, General, Editing, and it'll be here, Fade Tool Click Zones. It's really important when editing audio so you don't have that pop when going in or out of an audio clip.